What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel, Action Creature. Today we are looking at the highly anticipated Hiya Toys King Ghidorah. And man, I can't tell you how excited I am to actually take a look at this figure. I've been waiting for this thing forever. It took a lot longer to ship than I thought it would. I think because it shipped right before Christmas, so yeah, it just took a while to get to me. But needless to say, I'm glad it's finally here, and I cannot wait to show you guys this figure. So let's go ahead and get in and get a closer look at the details here. First we'll start off with the head. So actually, let me see if I could just pop a neck off real quick and give y'all a look at one of the heads. There we go. Yeah, so up first, we got the far right head here, and man, yeah, the detail on this thing is just crazy. Like, all the heads look so good. The teeth are really nicely painted. It's surprising because, like, with such a small head you would think the teeth would turn out looking bad, but no, as you can see when you look in close there, they're all just nicely individually painted, and it looks great. The horns have a nice dry brushing on them. The eyebrows have a nice shading, like a nice black shading. And the eyes, even though they're so tiny, like look at them compared to my nail, they actually look pretty good. Some nice dry brushing on the little spikes on the chin and even on the face there. Like, all the details are just nicely picked out. And starting with the neck here, I mean, just look at all that detail. For the scales on the bottom, there's just really nice scaling going on as well. So Hiya Toys did a really good job with the heads. I mean, especially if you can compare it to the monster arts. Like, the monster arts looks terrible compared to this. I mean, first of all, this is just so much more accurate. So I don't see, with this being out, I don't see there really being a need for the monster arts anymore. Like, this is way better, and it's actually cheaper too. But yeah, so let's look closely here at the necks. As you can see, like, all the scutes on the bottom of the necks, it's very snake-like. It's got like very nice scaling going along the sides, and you can see, like, there's no paint slop either. It's just a very clean paint job. Like, each scale right here has paint in between it, separating each one, and it's not bleeding over or chipped off or anything like that. They just look really good. Going down to the chest, I mean, just look at all the sculpted detail there. It looks awesome. So much scales, and even bigger scales here, closer to the inner part of the chest. And it actually has a nice shading too, as you can see right here, like a darker shading. It looks really good. Let me re-grab this. It's kind of hard to hold, it's so big. That's what she said. But yeah, look at those legs, man. They just look so good. And look at the toes there. It's just, wow, you know, they did a really good job. Looking at the wings have a very nicely, like, detailed veins, and the veins are even painted, and the paint is on the veins. I don't know how Hiya Toys does it, but man, they are doing good stuff. Like, this is probably their most painted figure so far, and it really shows, like, they can do intricate paint jobs with no problem. Let me take a closer look at these spikes. They are nicely dry brushed, each one, and they all look really good. Well, let's look at the back of the figure. So the back here, more of the same, you know, just really nice shading throughout, like the musculature. Nice shading on the back of the wings too. They didn't skimp out like Marvel Legends would or something like that. Nice spikes. They're all painted too. They have like a slight dry brush on them. They're not as painted as the rest. As you can see, it's just kind of like little bits of dry brushing on top of them. If you wanted, you could probably go back in and really paint them all up and it would look awesome. The tips of the tail here, they look really good too. Like very scaly, and there's a wash in there, so each scale is highlighted by that wash. All the spikes on the end are looking really good too. So let's go ahead and get into the scariest aspect of this figure here, which is the articulation. So that will be fun. So starting off at the head, we have a jaw that's on a hinge and opens up pretty nicely and closes decently. It doesn't close all the way, but yeah, the tongues are also articulated. If they get stuck up like at the roof of the mouth, they're really hard to get out, so use some tweezers or something, or have longer nails. But yeah, the jaws articulate nicely, and depending on the head, like some heads can close really well, like this one. I think this one's jaw is just kind of sticking out too much right here, so I gotta like kind of turn it. Yeah, there it goes, closed all the way now. But yeah, the heads are pretty good. They rotate on the ball there. Each head will look up. Let me refocus this. Each head will look up. Let me scoot them back. They pretty much look straight up. So yeah, that's nice, especially for the crawling pose. Looking down is kind of limited, but the heads themselves will look straight down. It's just the necks kind of go straight at a certain point. And I'll explain why that is in a second. But yeah, so all the heads will look straight down. As you can see there. And they got some nice range, but a little bit limited, like I was saying earlier. The heads can't, like the necks can't move forward, which is kind of unfortunate. The reason why is because these scales right here, where they cut the articulation, just go too far over the joint, so it really hinders it. I bet you if you were to cut these off of each one, you could probably get a lot better head movement. But so for the heads going outwards, they'll go out. Let's see. They'll go out a really good amount, like super far. And you know, they can move all around. And really, when you warm these up, they move a lot better. I warmed them up yesterday, but you know, they're obviously cooled back down now. So if you guys need even more range for pictures or something, you could just heat them up real quick and then get your picture before they cool down. So yeah, I mean, I think these heads are good enough, especially for the price point. Like, they're not super limited. It's just they could be a little bit better. Moving on to the torso here. The torso, actually, you can actually get some good movement out of it. You can kind of twist it to the sides a good bit. This is it leaning all the way back right now, but it will also lean forward just a little bit, as you can see there. Not too much. You really want this to be a sturdy joint anyway, so with there being no range in it, it's really not too bad. And also, like, when you lean it forward, it'll stay leaning forward. If you lean it back, it stays leaning back. So that's really nice. For the legs, they'll actually rotate forward a lot. You can almost get them in like a crisscross applesauce pose if you wanted to. You could be sitting down. But yeah, so pretty good range on the legs there. And they will go back. Well, they don't really go back, they just kind of go outwards. It's a little bit awkward, but yeah. In and out, they have a little bit of play, but not a lot. Sorry, let me fix this wing here. There we go. For the knees, this is the knees going all the way back right now, and they notch forward one click. They're really sturdy and they lock in nicely, and that's good for a figure that has so much weight on the wings. So yeah, they pretty sturdy knees there. They'll also rotate at the knee. The second knee will just kind of click forward one time and then click back once. For the feet, they're okay. They're not very articulated, but then again, you know, you really need a sturdy foot as well to keep this figure standing, or it would be really annoying like the Monster Arts. So I think Hiya Toys did the right thing, kind of limiting the legs here. They still can move, but not a whole lot. But yeah, so the feet movement is pretty decent. Like, they got nice ankle pivot. They go down a good bit, and they'll go up a little bit too. So pretty decent there. For the tails, the tails are honestly not the best. You can get them out to the side a good bit, but it doesn't really hold the position that well. They'll definitely go down though, and they hold that nicely for like flight poses. Going up is also a issue because you can pose it up like this, but then they just kind of droop down. Oops. But yeah, like I was saying, they droop down, so it sucks they can't really hold the pose. Now for the wings, here's the thing. I think for the wings, I honestly think that Hiya Toys should have just gave us swappable wings instead of articulated ones. It was a cool idea, and I think they executed it nicely, but man, it is a serious pain to articulate these things. So here's how it works. Let me adjust my camera and I'll show you guys. One sec. Alright, so here we go. Each section of wing has these little detents that pop out of the wing, so the wings lock into place. So this one pops out pretty easily, and you can see on the sculpt here there's little indents, and those are to make it lock in to the recess of the wing right there. So you can hear it just click in. So they click in nicely, so that's good. It's just getting them out is kind of scary because all these right here are ball hinges, and they're actually pretty tight and hard to move around, and it's honestly a little bit scary too. Like, I sometimes worry I'm gonna break the figure moving these if I move them just the wrong way. But what I showed you on this hinge right here is what all of these can do. The bottom part, let me adjust my camera again. The bottom part of the wing has the same deal. It just kind of will lock into place and, you know, sits flush in the wing recess right there. But yeah, you could pop this out, and then in here there is a ball joint, so you could rotate the wing forward and you could start to get it into that crawling pose that's shown in the promo pictures. So they'll rotate forward, they'll go backwards too, goes up a bit and will go down a bit. Let's see, this piece right here is just kind of on a hinge, like up here. So it'll move up and down and rotate. Not a whole lot of movement. And like I said, it's very finicky, so just be careful when you're moving this thing around, because it would really suck if you broke one of these wings. So just be careful with them. I'm not gonna put it in the crawling pose for you guys because I tried it yesterday. This is actually the second time I'm filming this video, and I just could not get it into a perfect crawling pose. It just was not just was not working for me. And these parts right here, they're really tight, and it just feels like you're gonna break it. So I just don't want to do it. Sorry. But yeah, that's why I said that I think interchangeable wings would have been a lot better for this figure, because, you know, if you're going to pose him, he's going to be posed like this. You know, if you're putting him on a shelf, he's going to have his wings splayed out, and that's really all you need. You don't need to move the wings around very much. Like, and if you want to do the crawling pose, then you just pop in some crawling pose wings, and then you have Ghidorah in the crawling pose. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. You know, that's just the one thing is I'm kind of iffy on with this figure, is I just wish there's interchangeable wings, because this shit is just too much, honestly. I don't like it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into size comparisons. So to start off our size comparisons, we have the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2019. This is a Godzilla that's meant to go with this figure, and standing them right next to each other, this looks really good. You know, I'm happy with this, you know, with the size difference here. It looks awesome. So these guys are going to make a great display piece once I have my collection all set up. And I can't wait for that, honestly. Up next, we have the Super 7 Burning Godzilla, or I guess Meltdown Godzilla. And these figures don't really scale with anything. Super 7 just likes to be different for no reason. So we have Meltdown Godzilla right here. And yeah, he's, you know, it still kind of works. It's just a little bit bigger Godzilla. So yeah, there's Meltdown Godzilla. And lastly, I figured I'll just compare him to Godzilla -1. And he's a lot smaller, but this actually kind of looks cool. Like, this would be a cool fight. Because, you know, -1 is actually pretty powerful Godzilla, it seems. So, yeah, there is your size comparisons. Lastly, though, for accessories, King Ghidorah does come with some stands, but for me, he doesn't need them. So, and they're still in the box, and you know, they're just the basic stands. They got some, like a little base, and they come out and they just give the wings some support, and there's one for the chest so he can do the crawling pose. Nothing really crazy. So yeah, he does come with stands if you guys want them. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this figure. It is a great replacement for the Monster Arts. This honestly, you know, 10 times better than the Monster Arts. The Monster Arts just does not even compete here. This is the Monsterverse King Ghidorah that you need to get. This is the one. Do not go for the Monster Arts one. Like, this is a better figure. So if you guys are interested, definitely pick this up while he's still in stock, because it's just an awesome figure. You know, decent enough articulation, amazing sculpted detail and paint. This is the one you want. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for me this time. I hope you all enjoyed this review. I got some more planned for y'all, so stick around, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.